On this Monday night, a blast of winter for Quebec and Ontario. From freezing rain to gusty winds, the stormy conditions pummeling eastern Canada and the resulting commuter chaos. Dying for help.
I'm hearing that this is a problem across the country.
The death of a man waiting in an Edmonton ER renews calls for change to Canada's health system. Plus, the hero of Australia's deadly Bondi Beach shooting speaks out. His first interview after taking the gunman head on. And darts, beers, costumes, and a prize worth millions. The electricity of the world's darts championship.
Global National with Donna Friesen. Reporting tonight, Ann Gaviola.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. It is a tough one out there for residents of central and eastern Canada tonight as a powerful winter storm moves through the region. Ontario's been enduring strong wind, rain and snow throughout the day, but Quebec is seeing the severe impact of the system. Mike Armstrong looks at the chaos brought on by this rough weather in tonight's top story.
Leaving the house, it was the type of morning where if you could, you likely turned around and went back in. After heavy rain from about midnight on, much of Montreal was covered with several millimeters of ice. It turned side streets into skating rinks, in fact, quite literally. This was a video shared out of Sherbrooke, Quebec, about 130 kilometers east of Montreal. That city pulled its buses off the road for most of the morning. Now, major highways were salted, slush was the main issue, but there were still vehicles affected, including some that were supposed to be out helping. Getting around by foot wasn't much easier. This wasn't a day to rush anywhere.
Very slowly, that's how I'm managing.
Now, the ambulance service that covers the Montreal region is asking people to avoid unnecessary travel. At the peak, it says it was getting close to 100 calls to 911 an hour, mostly for falls. It felt at times as though it was only tourists on the streets, taking it all in stride.
Here, ice. I like.
Whether from Italy or California.
Well, my whole family's met up in Montreal for the holidays, so we didn't know it was going to be like this.
Now, the same storm system is hitting in very different ways in Toronto. The southern parts of the city had to deal with wind and rain, while further north, even in the same city, it was blowing snow. But it's all part of what Environment Canada calls a Colorado low. It's warm, moist air moving northeast and hitting cold Arctic air. For Ottawa, the system meant 5 to 10 millimeters of freezing rain. Some localized areas got up to 20 millimeters.
I'd say the areas that were most impacted by the freezing rain would be areas between Kingston and Ottawa.
In the areas where freezing rain was a problem, temperatures got well above zero Monday. There was melting, but with a cold front coming, everything's going to freeze quickly, meaning things will get worse again before they get better. Mike Armstrong, Global News, Montreal.
A doctors group in Alberta is calling for system-wide changes to emergency medicine after the death of an Edmonton father last week. The 44-year-old died of an apparent cardiac arrest after waiting 8 hours in an ER. The province has ordered a review of the incident, but as Heather Yourex-West explains, data shows Canadian emergency departments are under more pressure than ever before.
Amazing superhero father to his kids.
Defiant in her grief, Neetu Sreekumar is demanding answers.
Whatever it will take to get justice for Prashanth, I am going to fight.
Her husband, Prashanth Sreekumar, died while waiting to see a doctor at Edmonton's Grey Nuns Hospital. He had been suffering severe chest pains. And while the results of an ECG did not look alarming, after 8 hours he suffered an apparent cardiac arrest and did not survive.
This tragic event occurred at the hospital that I actually work at, something that we've always feared might happen someday with the volumes that we're seeing in the emergency room, the lack of capacity, the challenges that we're being faced with every day in the emergency room.
The Alberta government has launched a review into Sreekumar's death, but it comes at a time when pressure on Canadian emergency departments is rising nationwide. According to recent data from the Canadian Institute for Health Information, across Canada, the number of emergency department visits rose to 16.1 million last year, up from 15.5 million in 2023-24.
I'm hearing that this is a problem across the country. I don't think this is uniquely Albertan by any stretch. When we look at population growth, the actual bed per capita numbers have dropped significantly, in many places by half.
Which may be why Sreekumar isn't the first patient to die waiting for emergency care in Canada this year. Last month, 82-year-old Genevieve Price died after waiting more than 30 hours in a Winnipeg ER. The province of Manitoba is investigating her death as well, while an Ontario family is currently suing an Oakville hospital after 16-year-old Finlay Vanderwerken died after waiting more than 8 hours to see a doctor in early 2024. Heather Yourex-West, Global News, Calgary.
In southern Mexico, at least 13 people have died after a train derailment in the state of Oaxaca on Sunday. More than 100 others on board were also injured during the incident, with dozens sent to hospital. The cause is still being investigated, but the derailment reportedly happened as the train approached a curve. The rail line is a major project fast-tracked by Mexico's previous president, connecting the Pacific coast to the Gulf of Mexico. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says U.S. President Donald Trump is now offering Ukraine security guarantees for 15 years as part of a proposed peace plan. The offer was made during peace talks at Trump's Mar-a-Lago mansion over the weekend, but future negotiations are in doubt again. Russia is accusing Ukraine of attacking one of Russian President Vladimir Putin's residences, shown here. Russia claims Ukraine fired 91 long-range drones overnight, which were all destroyed by Russian air defenses. Russia's foreign minister says the attack forces Moscow to review its negotiating position. Zelensky is dismissing it as typical Russian lies, calling the claims an attempt to undermine peace talks. In the U.S., President Donald Trump hosted Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at Mar-a-Lago today. The meeting focused on the second phase of the Gaza ceasefire, which has seen slow progress but has mostly held up since being signed in October. Candace Cole looks at what it will take for the peace plan to move ahead.
It's been a remarkable experience, and this was a very, very productive meeting.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and U.S. President Donald Trump showing mutual appreciation for each other Monday following their meeting to discuss moving forward on the Gaza peace plan. Netanyahu delivering high praise, announcing Trump has been awarded the Israel Prize, making him the first non-Israeli to receive it.
It's going to be awarded to President Donald J. Trump for his tremendous contributions to Israel and the Jewish people.
We have peace in the Middle East, and we're going to try and keep it that way. I think we will be very successful in keeping it that way. And you've been a great friend.
Trump told reporters they discussed the disarmament of Hamas, a key sticking point for Israel to move forward.
If they don't disarm, as they agreed to do, they agreed to it, and then they'll be held to pay for them.
And credited the U.S.'s bombardment of Iranian nuclear sites for facilitating peace in the region, delivering this warning.
I hope they're not trying to build up again, because if they are, we're going to have no choice but very quickly to eradicate that buildup.
Trump would not answer questions on if he thinks Israeli settlements in the West Bank are undermining the peace process, only that he and Netanyahu do not agree 100%. But he did throw his support behind a pardon for Netanyahu.
No, I think he's going to be in great shape. He's a wartime prime minister at the highest level. He's achieved tremendous success.
The parents of Ron Givley, the last remaining Israeli hostage, were also in attendance. Monday's visit marks Netanyahu's sixth meeting with Trump since January and comes just a week after U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner met with leaders from Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey to discuss next steps. Anne?
Candace Cole in Washington, thank you. The Australian man who's being hailed a hero during the deadly attack at Sydney's Bondi Beach earlier this month is speaking out in his first interview since the shooting. Al-Ahmed tackled a gunman and seized his weapon before being shot multiple times by another attacker. Speaking to CBS News, he describes what drove him to act. Neetu Garcha reports.
As gunfire erupted at Sydney's Bondi Beach on December 14th, hundreds of people ran for cover, but one man moved in the opposite direction, straight toward the gunman. Oh! Video seen around the world shows al-Ahmed charging the shooter, tackling him to the ground and wrestling away his weapon.
I don't want to hit his gun. I don't want to, see people, screaming and begging, asking help, and that's my soul asked me to do that, and all and everything in my heart and my brain, everything, it's worked, just to manage and to save the people's life.
In a CBS News exclusive interview, the fruit shop owner and father of two is speaking publicly for the first time since the terror attack. It happened during a Hanukkah celebration. 15 people were killed. Al-Ahmed was shot 5 times as he intervened.
I know I save lots of people's life, innocent kids and women and all this and men. And I know I save lots, but I feel sorry still for the lost.
Al-Ahmed has been released from hospital but may never fully recover. 2 bullets remain lodged in his shoulder and he suffered nerve damage to his left hand. A GoFundMe page set up for his recovery has raised more than 2 million Canadian dollars.
They raised you $2.5 million.
I deserve it.
Every penny.
The 43-year-old Syrian-born Muslim says he feels a deep connection to Australia as his adopted home, and he would risk his life again to protect innocent lives.
Saying a word,
Al-Ahmed telling CBS News his message to the world is to stop terrorism and hate and to see people as human beings, whatever their background or religion. Neetu Garcha, Global News, Vancouver.
The unfolding saga of Ryan Wedding coming up. How he went from Canadian Olympic snowboarder to alleged drug lord on the run from the FBI. British boxer and former world heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua has been injured in a car crash that killed 2 other passengers in Nigeria. Video shows Joshua walking around after the crash and getting into a different vehicle. He was taken to hospital with minor injuries. Officials say Joshua's car, which he was not driving at the time, hit a stationary vehicle on a busy expressway near the city of Lagos. Joshua beat YouTuber turned boxer Jake Paul in a fight earlier this month. The international manhunt for accused Canadian drug boss Ryan Wedding was one of the biggest stories of the year. Just last week, an alleged associate who went by the name Cocaine Lawyer was let out on $5 million bail. Ontario Defence Counsel Deepak Paradkar is accused of instructing Wedding to murder a federal witness. Taria Isri reports on how Wedding went from Olympic athlete to FBI most wanted.
Shirtless and lying in bed, a seemingly intimate image, and the last known photo of an accused Canadian drug lord.
Ryan Wedding is a modern-day iteration of Pablo Escobar.
Ryan Wedding has been on the run since 2015, but the FBI stepped up its investigation last fall, laying new charges against him and his alleged criminal network.
He controls one of the most prolific and violent drug trafficking organizations in this world.
These are the most recent images released of Wedding, showing noticeably different looks.
He might change his hair color, his appearance, and do anything to avoid capture.
Wedding was born in Thunder Bay, Ontario, and moved to Coquitlam, BC. He became an Olympic snowboarder and competed for Team Canada in 2002 in Salt Lake City. According to the Toronto Life profile Becoming El Jefe, after the Olympics, he moved to Vancouver to study at Simon Fraser University, but dropped out and started working as a nightclub bouncer. Around the same time, he reportedly got into the illegal cannabis business and then left Canada for the U.S. In 2008, he was arrested in San Diego, attempting to buy and smuggle cocaine, and sentenced to 48 months in a U.S. federal prison. Once he was released, authorities allege he became deeply involved in the drug trade, and by October 2024, the FBI accused him for the first time of being a cocaine kingpin.
He chose to become a major drug trafficker, and he chose to become a killer.
Good afternoon.
Last November, the FBI, along with the RCMP, held a news conference accusing Wedding of murdering a witness in Medellin, Colombia, who was set to testify against him. It was part of an alleged plot involving an accused hitman from Montreal, a Colombian madam, and a flashy defense counsel who went by the social media nickname Cocaine Lawyer. Deepak Paradkar is well known in Toronto legal circles for representing some notorious clients.
He is presumed innocent.
In exchange for his services, the FBI alleges Paradkar received lavish gifts like luxury watches, and that he allegedly set off a deadly chain of events.
His lawyer told him if you kill this witness, the case would be dismissed.
Paradkar is one of 7 Canadians arrested and awaiting trial in California. But the man accused of being at the top continues to evade capture, while allegedly running a billion-dollar drug empire. Taria Isri, Global News, Montreal.
Well, the hype around artificial intelligence has led some analysts to caution that the AI bubble is poised to burst in the new year. That is next. The excitement around artificial intelligence reached a fever pitch in 2025. And while the numbers were astounding, this fall, the chorus of voices warning of an AI bubble grew louder. I spoke with some experts on why fears are mounting over the possibility of the AI bubble bursting in 2026. Amazon, Google's parent company Alphabet, Meta, and Microsoft poured $400 billion into AI this year, most of it towards data centers.
I think what we're seeing in the market overall is this decision that maybe we were a little too optimistic, a little ahead of the curve of what AI can do so quickly.
The AI wave has supercharged some of the biggest names in tech. The Magnificent Seven stocks are Apple, Amazon, Alphabet, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Tesla. They have a combined value on the stock market of more than $21 trillion. And as of October 2025, they made up nearly 40% of the S&P 500.
Nvidia, who makes the chips that everybody's using, is making a lot of money. They're selling shovels in a gold rush. But the other companies like OpenAI that are using those chips are not making that much money. In fact, they're losing money.
There's a lot of questions about the monetization of AI and whether or not that is near term going to happen.
Gary Marcus is the author of Taming Silicon Valley. He has concerns about how powerful this small club of AI billionaires have become.
It should remind you of the days of the railroad barons. It's an extraordinary amount of concentration and power.
A select club of tech companies with access to tons of capital, resources, and close connections to U.S. President Donald Trump. Marcus worries a sustainable business model for many of these companies involves compromising users.
I don't think that these companies can make a profit on this unless they turn to surveillance fundamentally, unless they start selling deeply personal data like the conversations people have with ChatGPT to governments, to political campaigns and so forth. They're going to monetize you. You're going to completely give up your privacy. And I find that to be terrifying.
He sees the potential for a major correction in the AI space.
It is a perfect storm. We have corporate irresponsibility. We have a government that's too close. We have assets that are wildly overvalued. Of course, it could all blow up in 2026.
Though many have drawn comparisons to the bursting of the dot-com bubble, others, like Marcus, see something that more closely resembles the financial crisis, with everyday people footing the bill.
I'm worried that the banks are over-leveraged, that the investors are over-leveraged, and that we're going to wind up with something like 2008.
Anne Gaviola, Global News, Toronto. After the break, a unique event in the UK with a $9 million prize, plus costumes and booze galore. For Canadian sports fans, the 2 weeks after Christmas are associated with the World Juniors Hockey Tournament. But in the UK, a very different type of World Sports Championship happens. As Redmond Shannon explains, it involves thousands of fans in costume, gallons of beer, and 3 small arrows.
No, it's not Halloween or Mardi Gras or a comic book convention. This is a World Championship sporting event with a $9 million prize fund. Yes, this is darts. Its biggest tournament in London's historic Alexandra Palace, a fixture on the Christmas calendar for millions of TV viewers and thousands of fans who snap up tickets and, of course, costumes.
For so many of the fans, dressing up for the darts is as much a part of Christmas as turkey and tinsel.
Jam on toast. My friend is sat over there, he's got peanut butter on toast, so peanut butter and jelly.
Ben from London has come to the event 6 years running.
It's the best day out of the year, by a mile, best day out of the year.
When my dad was younger, a lot of the darts was silent and stuff like that, but as we've got older, like the crowds become insane.
There is no escaping just how creative some of the costumes are.
Big part of Christmas, yeah. We enjoy it. It's a New Year tradition, family and friends and having a good time. That's all that matters.
Start for the set of Cameron.
David Cameron is one of 2 Canadians who competed this year.
It's an opportunity of a lifetime. Always grateful, but electrifying. The atmosphere is just amazing.
The Nova Scotia native says it needs a little practice to block out the noise of the rowdy crowd. Players are even encouraged to get the fans hyped up.
You know, you got to try to mingle with the crowd a little bit, right? And have some fun with it, of course. It does relax you when you can do that a little bit as well.
Oldest man ever to win a match.
Players range in age from 71 down to world champion Luke Littler, aged just 18. As these fans will tell you, darts is for everyone. Redmond Shannon, Global News, London.
That is Global National for this Monday. I'm Ann Gaviola. Tonight's Your Canada is the view from Sulphur Mountain in Banff, Alberta. Please keep sending your photos to globalnational@globalnews.ca. Thank you for watching.